we're back.
We are back and we have with us this morning the project technician for Full Circle Belize. He's Daniel Gregorio. Good morning, Daniel. And we also have the project activist, Max Ram.
Good morning.
Let's begin first of all by explaining what Full Circle Belize is and what is its purpose in the grand scheme of recycling.
Well, we see plastic pollution and just improper disposal as a huge issue here in Belize, and also opportunities for youth are rather low. So by doing this initiative, we plan on tackling both of those issues. We'll be collecting the plastics and shredding them and then putting them through a machine called an extruder, which then warms them up, and we can put them into just about any mold we can create. So whatever shape we want to make with these plastics we can do, meanwhile also giving some youth training and raising awareness of the damages that improper pollution causes.
So let's look at this scenario. Single-use plastics and styrofoams has been a thing, right? We're trying to get rid of, these kinds of plastics where, it's widely considered a pollutant. So you look at garbage collection. You separate what can be used for this particular process.
Yeah.
Can we then say that, okay, perhaps we could use them to make chairs, plastic chairs, we could do other, like buckets or whatever else with them?
Buckets, planting pots, kitchen utensils. I mean, what you can make with it, the possibilities are kind of endless. And it is, at this point, only certain types of plastic that we can use, but as this project progresses, we're going to be getting different machinery where we can use even styrofoam, PVC, all of that stuff as well.
Let's step back for a moment. This is a youth-led initiative. Where did the idea come from? Daniel, tell me.
Well, Humana People to People is an NGO organization here in Belize that do project proposals. And this is where the recycling plastic and full circle came up, the idea came up, because they saw the importance of collecting all this plastic and using it into, and turning it into something useful rather than just dumping them or burning them, which is something that is practiced here in Belize a lot.
And was it a matter of you kind of looking at the garbage and saying, okay, there's got to be something better we could do with this?
Yeah, that's also part of the reason we targeted Belmopan and the surrounding areas. There have been a lot of new bus stops put in, all with their own plastic drums and everything, but they're constantly overflowing. And it's an area where we see a lot of waste being burnt or improperly, like just tossed around on the ground or into the waterways even. So it seemed like a perfect area to start, and then it seemed like it has a high population. So there's a lot of youth there that could be employed and trained to use these machinery as well. So we're targeting youth 18 to 35 as well. When I say youth, it's kind of a broad term.
How did you, okay, so you put together a proposal, you presented it to Humana People to People, and it was accepted. Did they provide the funding then for you to be able to access the machinery, to be able to access the training and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, they have. We actually have several donors, among them the GEF Small Grant Program, the Swiss Embassy of Belize, the Paddy Foundation, and then several other smaller donors as well, who all have their expectations of the project and kind of want to see it come to light and have it be an expanding thing too. Like, we would love to have it countrywide eventually. Be collecting as much as possible, and right now we have one set of machines. We do hope to get more in the future so we can expand.
So explain to us the phases of the project. You're waiting, it's collecting the plastic first. Go ahead.
It's four parts are included in it. So it's collection, transformation, raising advocacy and awareness, and then our youth training aspect. So right now we're in the collection and awareness raising parts of it. We did just get our machinery, so starting in about August or early September, our production and transformation is beginning. Right now we're just trying to get our collection bins set up across all of these communities and figure out the right timeline to collect them in and all of these little details.
So the plastics that we're going to be collecting are through community outreach. So we're targeting 8 communities in the Kaya district, which include Belmopan, Armenia, Cotton Tree, Tikato, Kamalote, and Georgeville.
Roaring Creek, Ontario, and Unitedville as well.
Yeah, so and the plan of collecting this plastic is to have 2 collection systems per each community. So I'm not sure if you guys can see through the PowerPoint that we shared to you. There we were at the Agriculture and Trade show where we had our first collection bin.
Our prototype, which is
Prototype, yeah.
kind of pretty close to what
That's
we
what I was looking at, that box. Okay,
Yes,
so
a metal
how do I
box.
know what type of plastic is supposed to go in there?
That one wasn't quite completed yet. It was just our prototype for design and size and all. We will have a big metal banner on it listing the types, giving photos for even children. So like if they can't read good, maybe they can still see, okay, this stuff goes in here.
Yeah.
As well as maybe providing some pictures up there of the products that it can create.
So how did it go at the Agric show?
Very well.
Yeah?
Nothing but positive feedback, we're proud to say.
Yeah. And people actively sought out the disposal bin there?
Yeah, everyone passing that kind of saw it and got the idea was very happy to toss in their bottles or whatever else they had, plastic water pouches, all that kind of stuff.
Do you guys have like an economic plan in place? Because if you're looking at repurposing and creating something new, then I would assume that that goes back onto the market for sale, right? Whatever it is that you're putting together. Have you guys thought that far ahead, or?
Yeah, we have 18 months of donorship, after which point it's supposed to be a sustainable project. So all of the money is supposed to keep it going, as well as any surplus income will go to other projects that Humana is implementing that maybe don't bring in their own funding. Such as we have a migrant hub for people coming across the borders. We have a seeds program that gets government and NGO services to rural areas, sorry. And different stuff like that all of the funds go back into.
Yeah.
How do we educate people? I mean, the separate bin for plastics is going to be new for some people. You know, we're kind of used to a one trash concept. You just put everything in one
bag.
hopefully in a bin to start there. So how do you plan to get people to start to separate their garbage so that you can have proper collection?
That is going to be done through community outreach.
Okay.
Yeah, door-to-door
We're currently
visits.
working on sensitization meetings with local leaders and business owners. So this is where we introduce our project to them. We talk, explain our aim, our targets, and through that we also, because we ask them where for our strategic location to place our bins, since they are the local leaders.
Yeah. And so what are some of the answers that you're getting? What's the response you're getting since you're going out to the community?
Schools.
Yeah.
Schools really need it, and also just local stores. I mean, people go and get their plastics there. There's no reason you can't bring the plastics right back there to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And then also just different communities vary. I mean, some of them have a lot of sporting events in the area, such as Kamalote. We were thinking maybe at the community center due to that. And just kind of working as by community, figuring out what works best where.
So what type of plastics can you
Be
collect?
type 1, 2, and 5 right now. So
What
it's
are
like
those? What
I have no idea what
Yeah.
that is. Yeah.
type 1 would be like your regular drinking bottles, soft drink bottles, all those kind of clear plastics
Okay.
that stuff comes in. Type 2 would be the more opaque, higher density ones, such as like detergent bottles and different car stuff, like motor oil bottles, coolant and that kind of stuff, shampoo,
Oh.
a lot of
didn't
different
think
things
of
like that. And type 5 would be like your COVID masks, bottle covers, those disposable like cutlery that you get with your takeout food.
Yeah.
A lot of the little higher density stuff as well. And then, as I mentioned, as the project progresses, we do expect to be getting some machinery from Cuba, which would then allow us to use all types.
How did you even find out about this machinery? That it existed and that you could do this?
It's an ongoing thing. It's our parent company is Precious Plastic, who we got the machinery from, and they're getting worldwide at this point. I think they're operating in 40-something countries now, and yeah, we heard about it and our grant writers kind of got in contact with them and figured out the best way to get the machine shipped here from Spain.
Is it perhaps your belief initially that targeting young people to be a part of this would perhaps be the most effective way? Because if you look at the child or infant population and you look at the teenagers and you look at the young adults, right? We perhaps are the ones that consume the most in terms of not only single-use plastics, but any other forms of plastics, correct?
Yes, definitely. We are the highest users, and it's, I believe, the easiest to make a change amongst the young people as well, because it is some cultural change taking place. People are just kind of used to it being convenient to just burn your plastic in the backyard or whatever.
Yeah.
So if we can educate the children and teach them about how harmful that is to our health and the health of the environment, then maybe it trickles down to the parents as well. They tell them about it and try and big up, okay, well, you can go and put it into this collection bin here instead. Would be the idea.
Is there...
Children are easily molded, I believe, so that them our target group.
And the youths, I think youths across the globe are becoming more environmentally conscious than probably we were when we were growing up. But I wanted, there is a system in place where some people do collect bottles for money. What are you going to compensate? Is there a part of a plan, or you're hoping that people will choose to recycle versus?
At this point, it's going to be strictly by a voluntary basis. But as the project progresses, we do realize that a small stipend would be a good incentive to get people bringing in stuff more. So for plastics that are cleaned and sorted, we may be able to give a small fee, probably by weight or something to that effect.
Okay, that would be helpful.
Because we intend to make this project self-sustainable. So once we start our production, we're going to be registering the project so that we can be able to sell whatever designs we make.
Yeah, and also looking for different partners that do have products that they themselves would need, or some like specific stuff. So we may have our own storefront. We may just be trying to work with different partners and sell our products through them.
Okay, so let's talk about that step. You got one machine so far. You said you have another one that's coming. What can you do? You collect the plastic, you put it into the machine, and then what can you make from it?
Yeah, so the process is to first collect our plastic. We're going to be sorting them by numbers. At the end of the bottle on the bottom, there is a number, so we're going to sort it by that number. Then we are going to be cleaning our plastics. Once we clean and sort our plastic, we are going to be melting them and pouring them into molds. This depends on which mold we decide. Yeah, after shredding.
So you have to shred it, then melt it.
We have a shredder and an extrusion machine, which is
then once we pour it into our molds, would be one of the pictures that we have in the PowerPoint are flower pots. We have baby cribs and some chairs that you can make also.
Yeah, we have a company from up in Cayo, I believe they're based, who is designing parks in Cayo and Orange Walk. And they're very into different sustainable building methods and sustainable approaches to this. So maybe some benches in these parks that say like, okay, this bench was made out of recycled Belizean plastic. And different little things like that to kind of promote awareness as well. As well as maybe stuff for the schools.
You'll be creating these products, or you'll be selling the raw material?
No, we'll be creating the products. Whatever, we'll be working with local workshops and welders and stuff who can make the different molds for us. And you can also shape it by hand, but molds are always a bit more precise.
Constant as well.
Yeah, exactly. So then different stuff like flower pots, buckets, as you guys mentioned, chairs, furniture, kitchen utensils.
You can't go wrong with that.
Anything that you can make a shape for, basically. Even plastic fence posts and stuff like that as well.
No, that's amazing. So you need local welders to help you with the mold.
Yes, definitely.
To be creative and come up with something.
We're currently looking at shipyard because we know that they work a lot on metal.
This is that's really interesting. Have you talked with the communities to see what type of product they would need? Like park benches is a great idea, but what
Yeah,
else?
so since you mentioned park benches, so imagine this scenario. Instead of cutting down the tree and using it to build furniture or any other
Which
thing
is
that you
quite
would need.
temporary. Wood rots,
Yeah.
plastic does not.
So, and then you have no shade afterwards. So instead of doing that, you collect our plastics instead of just dumping it and around the trees on the riversides. We collect our plastic and we build
Park bench.
a park bench, and then we just place it there. You will have the shade. You still have the tree there, and you have shade instead of cutting down the tree.
Yeah. And it's such a marketable product. I mean, there are even shoes now made out of
Exactly.
recyclable plastics. There, and people buy them because of what they're made from.
Yeah, because
so,
they
Yes.
support a good initiative as well.
yeah, that they know they're doing their part in removing some of the waste. Okay. So, at what point do you move into the phase of creating the
August,
products?
late August, early September. By then our collection system is supposed to be in full swing. We currently have an electrician working at our workshop to get
Yeah.
all our wiring proper for these machines because they do take a good bit of energy. And yeah, we'll be doing some prototype products pretty soon here, definitely before that timeline, but we expect to be having stuff that we can sell by August. Yeah.
How many people are involved in your project? I see quite a few at your in your photos.
Currently, only two of us.
Yeah, currently it's the two of us running the project. We do have a senior project coordinator. Some of those people are different employees of Humana that are
The
we're
guys
just helping
that-
out on this project,
Volunteers.
or just other people from outside doing volunteer work as well.
The guys that you see there in the picture are from Bella Vista and Santa Cruz. That's where they started with just some collection stations. So they just collect plastic. Our main station is going to be in Belmopan next to Reimer's Feed Mill
Okay.
on the Forest Drive.
And you have plastic drop-off points. So if I want to collect here in Belize and take it to you, that works too?
Yes, definitely.
Fine.
We're very open to that. And if it were a good amount being collected, we would be able to probably make the trip up here to pick stuff up as well.
Okay.
And we're hoping to get expanded beyond just the Belmopan area very soon.
Yeah.
So then by the end of our donorship period, we're supposed to be covering a lot more area as well as have a few more people employed too.
Yeah, by then it should be a self-sustainable project.
I would imagine though, and this is just me thinking here, when you melt plastic, it shrinks, right?
Slightly.
So that you're perhaps going to need a lot of plastic to be able to make certain things out of, right? So
There's no shortage.
There are
High
tons
volume.
of plastic in
Yeah.
communities.
And then it doesn't, since we're going through the shredding process, it doesn't melt quite as much as if it were just like bottles themselves. It's all already pre-shredded, which makes it a good bit more dense.
okay.
But then as you melt it, it does lose a little bit of its weight. And it's also, we're going to have to be masked up and all that, because even putting it under a slight amount of heat does release some of the toxins.
Yeah.
And stuff.
And that's what you were clarifying for me before when I said melted. You said there's a process that's not exactly like burning what we imagine.
Yeah, it just turns it kind of into a consistency of, say, hot candle wax.
Okay.
At which point you just can,
So
like
it
I said,
softens
hand
the
mold
plastic.
it. Yes.
Malleable.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then you add your colors, your pigments to
Well, it's actually, we work with the colors that we have. So, and you can do some really interesting mixes of colors that give you some very marble-like products at the end of the day.
I saw that with the stool. So if you don't color, you're separating by color too?
Yeah, we're separating
By
by color. We'll have different bins of different shredded colors. At which point we mix them together how
so
we
your
please.
yellows are already yellow, your
Yeah.
blues are already blue.
So when it comes
etc.
to melting the plastic and you want your model to look marble-like, that's where you're going to be doing your mixing the plastic, pouring different amounts of colors of the same number though.
There's also an interesting method that you don't shred it first and you kind of keep the plastics together, and that when you make it shows the different shapes of like what goes into it. Like you can tell individual bottle caps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which just makes it carries across the point that okay, this was made
Yeah, I
with
think that's what you should do with
recycled
your park
plastic.
benches, just like bottle caps all over. Then people will remember.
Right? Make it very clear that okay, this is all stuff that was trash that has then been repurposed.
This would at the same time, like you mentioned, the bio cups. At the same time, it would motivate them to help us collect more plastic.
Yeah.
help spread the message.
Yeah.
All right. But that's a lot of work, though, that sorting portion at
Yes, I expect
minimum.
we're going to have a lot of sorting and a lot of different nasty stuff that we have to pull out at the start.
So it's just the two
But
of you that are
hopefully-
going to do it?
For beginners, yes. We do plan on expanding and employing more very soon,
Yeah.
but as we get started, it is just the two of us.
Yeah.
Are you I mean, there are people who may be willing to volunteer to
Yes,
help.
definitely. We're very open to that, as well as like for the high schools and stuff. They have to do work experience and community service and different things like that. We're very open
Yeah,
to
that's
that.
one of our
We want to
targets.
teach people how to use these machines too,
Yeah.
because we do see it as a growing industry. Like I know that Tobacco Key has gotten their own plastic shredder for out there, and Caribbean International Brewery has their whole setup as well already.
Yeah.
So it's a growing industry, and the more youth we can train to use these machines and about the harms of plastic, I think it can become a Belizean thing.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, we are collecting a lot of plastics and just shipping them to different countries around us to do the same stuff with. So,
So
we
it's
can get
being
it going at home even better.
All right. And so how do people get in touch with you if they want to volunteer, if they have a lot of plastic that they want to give to you, or just get involved in any way?
We have a work phone and we have an email that
Yeah.
people can reach out to us on.
You can also find us on Facebook. That's Full Circle Belize. We also have the Instagram, but it's not quite active at the moment.
Yeah.
And our phone number is 675-6465.
All right.
And we're very open to all types of collaboration, from people that are willing to tell us ideas of their products that they'd like to see,
Yeah.
people doing recycling drives that are just picking up all these plastics and doing beach cleanups and so, but don't really have anything to do with them.
Yeah.
Even the Department of Environment, Solid Waste Management, groups like this, we're very open to working with them.
And there may be somebody out there who needs something made in plastic that
Yes.
would be a fitting partner.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, well, a wonderful initiative, and we
Thank
do
you.
wish you the best of luck with it,
Thank you
so
very much.
people can be able to do their part in transforming the plastic waste that we use.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you guys, and it will hopefully be reaching to Belize City pretty soon here as well, because this is another very good target area.
Definitely.
Well, we look forward to seeing those prototypes.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
to see what you come up
Yeah.
with.
Right?
Well, we want to expand countrywide eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in and telling us about the project.
All right, thank you guys as well.
Thank you guys for having us.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back in a few. Stay tuned.